episode of Behind the Visor, where we catch up with some of our drivers in the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series, as well as some of the people behind the scenes that organise these events. My co-host, of course, Dylan Thomas, back for another episode. Dylan, great to have you here. Of course, we're about to talk about the endurance rounds that are coming up, the fight in the night back at Queensland Raceway, August 15th to 17th.
Fine night, fantastic event. Started by Aaron McGill back in the day. Night racing on the Saturday night, big glowing red brake discs. Super exciting racing.
Oh, Queensland Raceway, of course, we had our last round there. We're going back, so a few of the drivers have now got their eye in, I suppose. But what I really like there is all the brakes lit up under night, the exhaust. We get the flame shooting. It's a real spectacle for the guests as well. Yeah,
talking to guests, I think we've got Tony Quinn coming on. We might need to see if he was actually out cleaning up the track after the test run that he had at the last round.
Oh, let's bring him in right now. Tony Quinn joins from Queensland Raceway, as well as Oskar and Troy Derwent from the Holden Astra there that competed last round. Welcome, guys.
How are you?
Of course, great to have Tony Quinn here. You've done so much to Queensland Race. That's the first thing I probably want to talk to you about at the moment is every time we go back there, and I only get to go there probably twice a year, is there's always something new at Queensland Raceway, whether it's the shed, shade, corporate facilities. I mean, it's just an evolving place. How does it feel to be in charge of such a dynamic venue now?
Oh, I think it's good. I mean, people give me plenty of compliments. But really, all I've done is to do what needed done, really, what should have been done in the first place. So I've just done that. And nowadays, the asset is good. There's only a few bits and pieces that we need to do. But the thing that I'm more proud of now, as we progress, is the team. We've got an excellent young team there that do a great job and put the customers first. And that just creates a successful business. So I'm very happy with the team.
The team comes from leadership, though, Tony. And from the stories I've heard, you were on the broom doing sawdust when you blew your engine up. So, from up the top, the team is being led by yourself. Is that true that you're on the broom?
I can't remember, but there's no doubt I would have been because, the sign of a great leader is to lead by example. And I was kind of in a hurry I was down and out, but I was kind of in a hurry to get the race back on track.
Fantastic. And any big news for the fight of the night coming up? Any exciting stuff to announce for that?
Well, we need to get a new engine in the Camaro, which is a bit of a problem because they don't make them anymore, I don't think. But I think we've managed to source a block and stuff like that. So we should be back on track. I think the Sherrans are having a fair bit to do with it this year again. But look, I'm with you. I think the fight in the night, I've done it a few times, even before I owned QR. And I think it's one of the great events. And, we don't have the lighting that Sydney Motorsport Park does. But we have what's called complementary lighting. And I think Queensland Raceway is fantastic. In fact, that's where Queensland Raceway's growth will be with evenings and nighttime stuff. It's got enough lighting that you don't fall over and trip. But it's got enough, you still need extra lights on your car when you're going fast. And I think it's great. I think it's got a great atmosphere, the fight in the night.
Great for the teams as well. I mean, I know a lot of teams, and our team in the years gone by, we chuck some neon lights on, and you try and make a bit more effort for your car to stand out. A little bit of reflective tape on your numbers or something. So great for the teams as well.
Oskar and Troy, join us here on the panel as well. It wasn't a great outing for you last round. You had some gearbox issues as well when you went into the 2-hour race. But Queensland Raceway always throws a challenge at you, doesn't it?
Cool, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, loved it.
Tell us something about your car. I mean, it's a Holden Astra. It's a bit, it's done a fair few kilometres, that car now. It's got some prestige.
12-hour, 6-hour events? Yeah, so the car's was built by MacLeod Racing. And then obviously he's ran it for a few years doing the Bathurst 12-hour, 6-hour stuff. And then we went to purchase them, and we've now taken the reins of those two legendary cars that MacLeod, big names like MacLeod's, Mosterts and all that kind of stuff have driven. So yeah, it's been one of those cars that Dad followed for years and years and years, and then one day it came up for sale and Dad's like, I've got to do it. And then I think 3 years ago we brought the sister car as well, so we've got both of them. But yeah.
Had some Holden back in at one point there as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did in Casserole, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Troy, tell us what's it about production cars? What is it that keeps you coming back?
It's the closeness, you know. Like we spoke before about this. We're looking at a 3-hour race now. We did okay in that 2-hour race. The longer these races get, the bigger cars seem to fall away. The little cars, when they're built right, just keep going and going and going. And that little car, you know, we'll start towards the back of the grid, but we'll finish up pretty high after 3 hours. It's that consistency these little cars bring to it.
Well, that's also the benefit of endurance racing. The strategy comes in, how quickly, do you put tyres on? Save some time there. And often you've got to do tyres, fuel separately in your stops. So there's a whole bunch of strategy. You've got a team manager that runs all that. You rely on the crew to do a good job and efficient stop. So it's a whole team environment, and that always makes it a lot more fun too.
Yeah, tell us about what's involved. I mean, we're going from a 2-hour race. What's the difference between that from our last round to this 3-hour race we're going to have coming up at the Fight in the Night? Is there more crew? Is it just more strategy? How much more preparation do you put into the car?
It will be like the same crew that came up with us last time. Obviously, there's a bit more stress with us because of the gearbox issues and stuff. So we've got to change the gearbox over. But other than that, it's like
it'll be another stop. We'll run another stop. I think it'll be a 2-stop game to do that. It's hard on fuel. It's hard on fuel and brakes. So brakes will be fine, but we'll need to throw another tank in it.
So it's very similar to what you see in the supercars, really, isn't it? We saw you guys come in last round. You've got the fuel rigs there. Most of the cars have that. We don't see a lot of them getting out with a jig anymore and put that fuel. And everyone's got a fuel rig. So you've got specialised people just for that as well, don't you?
Yeah, so we got 3 refuelers that come on board with us. So we've got a dead man, a fire extinguisher bloke, and the bloke that fuels it. So you've got to counter for those guys, and
Yes, there's a lot more involved, I suppose, in production car racing. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is it's not just the drivers show up and you might bring a couple of mates to be a mechanic. You've actually got a whole team there, which is we probably don't get to see that as much on the TV, I suppose.
It's very much similar rules to what supercars do. With the dead man, you've even got a fuel restrictor in the fuel rigs. It's a similar philosophy and rule set. It's all under safety anyway, so it's got to be complied.
Well, we're running a V8 supercar rig.
Yeah.
We've got the ex-Kelly rig. So,
my rig's an ex-Kelly rig too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a number of them.
They obviously made a few of them.
Well, thank you all for coming on the show today. It's been great to have you here, Oskar, Troy, and of course Tony. We thank you for taking a bit of time out of your busy schedule to be here. We're going to go check out some of the highlights from our last round of Australian production cars and have a short break. We'll be back very shortly with a couple more production car drivers. So yeah, the highlights. Have a look at Buccini in the pink car. That was a great start from Kearns. So it was the second row of the grid, had all the traction here, and they went from 3rd and 4th up to 1st and 2nd in the first moments. Buccini got away really well with that gearbox change and flew to a lead. And we thought for a while the 999 car might get away. Kearns, well, it just seemed to be like the tyre temperature started to come up, and that's when they started to find their groove in the Mustang.
Yeah, they couldn't keep this pace going for the whole race, although it would have been awesome if it was. They were treating it like a 5-lap dash. In the early stages, there was 4 cars spread over 1 second here down at turn 3. Tony Quinn ultimately finished in 3rd position. Don't worry about the transponder saying down there. This was Kearns going for the lead in the big Mustang. And moments later, we'd see dramas, wouldn't we, for the 999 BMW. It would have jumped into limp mode. A long way back here from White. That was a gutsy move down here at turn 6 to move up into 2nd, and the BMW closing the door on Tony Quinn. Then the safety car would come out. Robert Saini would find the gravel. 1 or 2 laps behind the Hyundai safety car. We went back racing.
Yeah, this is where Buccini pulled in the pits. They managed to plug that in, and we got word that that is a gearbox throwing a code. They cleared it, got the car back out there. Unfortunately, looks like that has had another issue, and this is the final moments of the race there, where we saw Kearns with that nice little lead there, 2.5 seconds over White. Let's check out some of our race highlights, though. And look, anything could happen. This was the explosion of the tyre there when Griffo was behind the wheel early on. A really scary moment because it doesn't turn when one's down on a rim. That could have got a lot worse for that team and a lot worse for the race. And we thought this was the moment where a bit of rubber inside the brake duct there was going to cause an issue. And then this happens. Tony Quinn going down the back straight at a walloping over 200 kilometres an hour, and out jumps a leg out of the LS, and there is oil smoke everywhere, and we left a slick down the back which had to be cleaned up, and that car unfortunately towed off. It got back underway though. These were the 2. The Mustangs wanted to go at it.
Yeah, we were worried there for a moment they would make contact. That was the first moment for the 51 car that had steering dramas, ended up in. Then some stress in the pits here for the 999 BMW of Buccini. A fuel spill there for a moment. There was contact coming into the pits. Jake Camilleri car. Then White, after his successful stint, bolted. Glenn Walker in behind the wheel. Then this moment we saw The two leading cars have two separate moments. During the second half of the race, moment there for the Toyota 86 down here for the second time the 51 went off, this time with O'Flynn behind the wheel. That would be the third and final safety car, leaving us with a less than 10-minute sprint to determine, and Walker stretched that out to over 14 seconds at the end and wins outright and wins the A2 class in the Australian Production Car Series, the QR300, and under a burst of fireworks on a balmy Saturday night here at Ipswich.
Some of the race highlights to see how it all unfolded with 30 minutes of racing for the production cars here on this Sunday at the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. Buccini is super fast, all the traction control, but look at Tommy Heyman out on the grass with two wheels and made 3 positions going into turn number 1.
Saves the groundskeeper doing that job during the week. Now the edges look great on Dick Johnson straight. He went after Buccini. This was a bit of contact here and he had to straighten himself out for Derwent, with the Toyota 86s ganging up on him at turn number 6. This was a move later on in the race with Trent White getting back towards the front, or in the early stages when the Buccini car actually was starting to slow up a bit. So maybe they did have a drama with this car and thought they need to run to a number perhaps late in the race, because they were in the 1-minute 20s for most of that race here today. This was the contact between the two leaders. Matty Cav described it as a nudge. I think I'd go along with that now. And great driving from Kearns to allow White to catch him up there and ultimately go back into the lead as they started picking their way through the first and second place cars. And eventually Kearns would grab the lead late in this race.
Yeah, managed to work his way back through Tommy Heyman and Buccini after just going back and doing the gentleman thing to redress that issue. White eventually get on a bit of pace and take the Tommy Heyman and Buccini as well as he started to get the pace back into that Mustang. Almost looks like just needed a break, potentially on the brakes there. Move back into second position outright. You can see the orange glow in between the spokes of those front wheels. As they came home, Kearns took the checkered flag with White behind. 1 and 2 in the A class, and overall, Buccini held out Heyman, who was looking for a moment at the end.
Hi-Tec Performance Oils. You want the best for your car. Drive well, stay safe with Hi-Tec Oils.
Behind the Visor here at the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. We've got a couple more of the Australian production car drivers that we're about to bring up. A big welcome to Paul and Karli Buccini. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Very interesting round at Queensland Race. Of course, father-daughter combination. You guys struggled on day one with some things with the car. Seen you very busy overnight, but it wasn't a bad night of racing when you come to the 2-hour Enduro.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had a bit of an overheating issue with the gearbox and yeah, so just kept putting the car into limp mode, which, yeah, struggled a little bit. We had a few good laps out of it, but yeah, the guys worked really hard next morning and got us going. And then we just managed the car on the night. And yeah, it worked really well. And then we did some more changes on the Sunday, which then, as you saw, Karli just blitzed through the field on the Sunday, which worked out really well.
I think blitzing through the field was a bit of an understatement. You were quick, Karli. Very quick.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love passing cars.
Well, I think what's more important about this, I mean, this whole show's about getting to know the personalities and the people behind the helmets. You know, having father and daughter, I had the privilege of sharing a podium at Bathurst with my father. You know, tell us a bit about racing together and you know, how that came about and, you know, how Karli found the love of motorsport, I assume through father.
Yeah, it was. So I was pit crewing when Dad used to do hill climbs and street sprints. So I was just, obviously, pit crew, and then I wanted to have a go. So I had a go on my little Ford Fiesta road car at a hill climb, and then I just kind of caught the bug. Then just moved on from there, I suppose. So yeah, it's been really cool doing it with Dad all this time, and we hope to be doing some more enduros together next year as well. So. In a higher up level, maybe. We'll see how we go.
Oh, rumours of...
Paul, I see you're thinking about... There's a little twitch in the eye there when we say we're talking at a higher level. Are we still talking budget here?
Yeah.
Well, as much budget as we can make it work, I suppose. But look, certainly enjoying... Karli's been asking me for a long time to join her in a car and do an enduro. And I've been hesitant and always wanted to do my own thing. But this year I just went, you know what, we're going to do it. And, for our first outing, it worked out fantastic. And the car's great. Karli's obviously gained a lot of experience with all her Bathurst wins. And, it's just makes sense for us to then give it a go together and see how we go.
Look, we know you've got a couple of hobbies on the side. We hear your pit is the place to go if you get a win. That's where the celebrations are. You've got some special juice that we can get there after the show.
Oh, yes. I certainly. I make my limoncello, which is quite famous. A lot of people like it. It's certainly from, obviously I got my recipe from Italy, and I haven't been able to find one in Australia. So I decided to start making my own, and anyone that's tried it wants a bottle. So I'm quite busy making them. I've grown my own trees on my property, so I don't get short of lemons either.
Well, we've heard from Karli where her background is. I see a 24-hour series badge at the back there, Paul. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to get to where you are now.
Yeah, again, I started like Karli. I started in hill climbs and street sprints and was quite successful there. So I thought one day we got into production car and had a bit of a change of car throughout the series and enjoyed ourselves through the production cars. But I got a couple of opportunities to join the GT series here in Australia, the 12-hour, as well as overseas. I got asked to come and have a play. I did the British GT series there, and it was great. I ended up third in the AM on my one adventure out there, so that was good. And then, so I went over and did the 24-hour, but the car unfortunately didn't make the thing. But I quite enjoyed my 3-hour stint and driving on a track in Barcelona that is just mega and in the dark was quite good. So look, I'm keen on that. I'm keen on having a few more goes in a GT, that's for sure. Don't know if I want to own one, but look, at the end of the day, if I can score some rides here and there, I'd love to try it out. And I think Karli would do really well in one as well.
So I suppose the big question for me is 3-hour endurance coming up on the Saturday night or fight in the night in August. Who's getting more seat time? Is it a fight to see who gets in there, or is it just sort of see how it progresses through the night with the car?
Well, I think, normally, so the last round we basically said, look, we'll make it as even as possible. Unfortunately for Karli, the safety car came out and the car was struggling a bit with the heat, so we brought her in, and then I went out and just nursed the car home. But this time we've got it sorted. We've done some things. So I think in the next one, don't know. Look, I'm keen to let Karli do more than me. She has certainly excelled where she was always feeling a bit, I can't be at your lap speed. But now she is. And look, to be honest, she was only 0.3 of a second off my time at the last Enduro. So look, there's quality in both of us to be at the front. So I think if she's happy to stay in the car, I'm going to leave her in the car.
Well, we can't wait to see you. It's only a couple of weeks away, of course, our fight in the night from the 15th to the 17th of August at Queensland Raceway. Can't wait to see you guys again. It was an incredible fight there, and we can't wait to see you try and get that B1 win once again in the 3-hour race. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
No worries. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us. A nice picture in the background, by the way, with the car in the lead. I love it.
And of course, Dylan, we know where we're going afterwards for a little bit of a nightcap where we go down.
Which
there,
pit garage?
We know where we're going to go, because we're going to go to a short break here. Oh, there we go.
We've
got a sample.
Orders. Please place your orders here.
We're going to go to a short break here at Behind the Visor at the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. We'll be back very shortly. Of course, innovation race cars is the next category we're going to be talking about.
Hi-Tec Performance Oils. You want the best for your car. Drive well. Stay safe with Hi-Tec Oils.
Well, welcome back to Behind the Visor here for the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series, and we're about to catch up with some of our innovation race car people. They joined us in the 2025 season, and they are up to their fourth round, which is turned into an endurance round here for the Fight in the Night in August. Joining us here in the studio is Stacey Stewart to our left, Barry Hay, and of course joining us on the screen is Darren Currie. Welcome to the Behind the Visor.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thank you.
It's always good to sort of catch up with some people, not just the drivers, I suppose, but some of the people behind the scenes. Of course, Stacey, you're involved as a technical manager, and Barry, you're there as a category manager.
That's exactly right.
A big way to come into the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series in 2025. How have you found it so far?
It's been fantastic. You know, the biggest thing is when you're running a series is you're fighting the major organisation, and that's the whole thing. You know, like since we've run with AWSA, we've had all these teething problems. You know, we've got a brand new series, whatever. Go to those guys, they go, yep, nothing's a problem, and it makes the whole task of getting everything across the line so much easier. It's really, really good to do.
It's also really cool to get a decent amount of track time as well. A 50-minute enduro coming up. That should be exciting for the IRC cars.
There's nothing wrong with a long race. You know, they all sort of settle in, but the big thing is a lot of the time you'll see where everybody will settle in their places, but the racing continues. You know, the tyre hangs in there. They've got a race car from the start to the end, and that sort of, you see it shuffles the whole time. Like, it's not one of those processional sort of things in the long races. So it's exciting to watch.
Well, I think we probably should learn a bit about the 50-minute race. Do we need a pit stop? Do we need fuel? What's the go for it?
Well, the good thing is that the car's set up and they can do all that on tyres, on fuel. So, you know, that helps with the amount of people that you need to bring to the track. You know, you don't need all the pit stop equipment, everything that's involved in that. So it's a good thing as far as you do have the opportunity to run two drivers, and you can do that. And we have where they come in and they can do a changeover. So to be able to halve the cost of a car, if you want to go about it that way, is a big benefit these days, you know, because cost is everything in motorsport. Everyone's talking about it all the time. To have that opportunity to go half and half with somebody, it's good.
It's a big opportunity.
So we do have the compulsory pit stop, but it's not for tyres or
No,
fuel
we
or
don't
anything
do
like
any-
that.
Just a time stop?
No.
Yeah, and so that does allow the time if you are swapping drivers for that to happen. But if you aren't swapping drivers, well, you still have to stop for that time as well. So that if you do share the drivers, it's fair. Yeah.
It really evens the field out. Darren, I suppose you want to get into the conversation. You've actually got an IRC car overseas, but in Australia you're driving a Mark car, which is one of the first,
Yeah, look,
I suppose.
I bought an IRC car at the end of last year and sent it over to Europe, and I've been doing a lot of endurance racing in it. So we've competed in multiple 12 hours and 24-hour races, which has been good. And these events that you guys put on here in Australia suit me because I'm the guy that can jump in a car with somebody else. With having my car overseas, I miss being in the IRC car here. So with the 50-minute race and the pit stop, I can jump in and share a car with somebody, and it works out really good. So.
The other thing that's pretty cool with the IRC guys is you've got that group chat. There's the Paul Stacey from IndyCar. I think this is pretty cool. Like apparently Paul throws his in-car video up, and from what I hear, the chat goes on all night. How do you find the information that comes from, I guess, all around the world?
That's actually very beneficial for us. We had a few. We were trying to work out how to get our head around the car over in Europe. Obviously, in Australia, we've got all the guys at IRC and Paul Sepenich, who's amazing with help. And, you know, if you've got an issue with the car, they're all over it. But with Paul Tracy, he's constantly driving the IRC car over in America there. And by uploading everything he's putting and sharing the information, it's actually helping us develop our car overseas as well. We had a lot of issues with understeer in the car. Paul Tracy had the same issues in America. He changed a few things. We did the same to ours and fixed it straight away. So it's really beneficial.
Nice family community sharing the information.
And I suppose, Barry, it's a fairly new, I suppose, the innovation race cars that started with the Mark cars. They've evolved into what is now the innovation race car. They are, I suppose, expanding in numbers. And have you got a few more that have been sold around recently?
Yeah, it is. So everything's growing, you know, like it's getting really good momentum. It really, really is. So the car is an evolution. We constantly are working on, small bits all the time. So it's just getting better and better and better as the IRC platform. And then the more people that drive it, and certainly having it out there, because that's always been the problem with this car in general. Even when it was a marked car, it was a bit of an orphan, it had nowhere to go. It was invitational everywhere it went. And it was disappointing, because in the invitational part, it would be given a time that it couldn't exceed, so it never actually got to perform for what it actually can do. So now actually having a series running unrestricted, and the amount of people that are seeing it and being surprised on how fast it is, it's an amateur series, and, the boys are all doing 109s at QR.
108.8, if you want me to correct you, was
that's exactly right.
Position
Lots
last
of
round.
That's exactly right.
So, for the amount of skill that you need to do that sort of a time, and it's not a raggy time where you just luckily make it to the end. You can repeat those sort of times. And even the good thing about it is, in racing, the most successful categories tend to be the one make, because that way you can't get outspent by somebody. And when you arrive at the track, you've got as much chance as you have, and you have to get a result out of it. So having that one make format is really good, but at the same hand, it's almost as fast as a GT3 car, and you don't need to be Paul Tracy to do those times. So, it's a perfect combination of where a gentleman can go. There's no juniors in there hassling you, crashing into you, doing all that stuff that 18 and 20-year-olds do, and you're still in a fast car that's safe.
Yeah, well, and also as a formula, you've got 8 tyres, so it's cost restricted. And looking at that last round of QR, well, we said 108.8 was qualifying time. They were still doing 9.3s at the end of the weekend, so the tyres very consistent, not falling off. So, from a cost-effective standpoint, that's actually pretty good.
Just on a cost point of view there, guys, compared to things like I race GT3 cars as well, they are so expensive to run. You do a round in GT, we're at Sandown this weekend, you're looking at roughly $70,000 to do 2 1-hour races. You go to IRC, you do the same amount of track time and you're literally half the amount of money. And the other thing is too, with the design of the cars these days, you have a big shunt. You can fix a car that's had a really big hit for about 30 grand. Like, it's so cheap compared to a lot of other categories out there.
Touched on this Australian design product built up there in Yatala, Queensland as well. So it's not like we're getting these cars from overseas. Oh, this is homegrown.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And the guys are actually having a test day up at QR today with a few of our current drivers and a few maybe potential drivers. So that's really cool for the test day to be held so close to where these cars are actually being manufactured.
Yeah, it's great. So my biggest question is, has Danny sold his new car yet? Because he's the one that seems to be, he gets to do the running, I suppose, on a lot of these cars.
He doesn't like using the same car twice, Darren, does he really? He likes that new car smell. He likes to sort of go in there. So if anybody's looking for a good deal, go up and see Danny on the car he's driving, because he doesn't want that for the next round, does he?
Yeah, that's right. He's always trying to get someone in there. Unfortunately for him, he put me in at Winton and it didn't end so well. So.
No, it was great to see that car. And I mean, the turnaround time, they're talking about 6 to 8 weeks to build a car from order.
Yeah. So, and there's a couple of cars that we try and keep where the frame's together, everything's basically a roller. Yeah. And you can take it to whichever spec you want from there. So that minimises the waiting time as well. So we can have guys that'll do that test day today and they'll get their car potentially by our next race meeting coming up. And, like we've got Jeffrey Emery come across, and he's a Carrera Cup champion, a GT champion, and he just loves the fact that the car's so planted and so fast. Like, it's a good option without having to add all the zeros to your running costs.
Actually, I was going to mention Jeff Emery at Queensland Raceway between 1 and 2. He had a little bit of a tuk-tuk off to the left.
He did.
Something looked, I don't know if that was driver error or something happened, but...
He's, it's funny, like, Jeffrey's super fast, but it's just luck's not going his way this far.
Well, he did get a couple of podiums at Quick QR last time out, so maybe this next one in the 50-minute race, he's pretty good enduro racer.
Now.
He's definitely going to come back at QR. Like, he's got that burn in his eyes for sure. So, yeah, it'd be good to watch.
Speaking of Queensland Raceway, of course, the next endurance round is the 15th to the 17th. The fight in the night. I want to thank everyone joining us here on the panel. Thanks, Barry, Stacey.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
We're going to have a short break right here on the Behind the Visor, and next up we're going to lift the lid on some of our TA2 muscle car drivers. We'll be back shortly.
Let's have a look at some of our race highlights here from the Innovation Race Cars. Started pretty good, Goodacre alongside of Taunton, and we thought this was only going to go for one corner, but it managed to keep going with Taunton down the inside. He wasn't quite in front going into turn one, but have a look as they went down the back straight. Gillison put his nose in as well, and we thought this was going to be 3-car wide for a moment. Taunton, though, held his nerves on the inside. Studdard had the front row seat there. That was the perfect view from Studdard's car to watch this unfold. Goodacre and Studdard got into it for a little bit before Studdard. Have a look at this dive down the inside. That was a moment. We held our breath, didn't we? We thought there was contact going to be made, and Emery was always floating around that top 6. And then it was later on in the race, wasn't it? About halfway through, unfortunately, you just saw it just lose traction for a moment there. Didn't manage to grab it. Managed to beach itself. Brought out the safety car. This was the race restart.
Yeah, great launch there from Taunton. Gillison following right along. This is where Stibbs bowed out, unfortunately, in the Hi-Tec Oils machine, having to retire to the pits. But from there, it was Taunton getting out to a very handy 2.8 second lead to cross the finish line for the checkered flag. And it's a great starting race to open the account. This was your race start, and it was from here that Taunton really asserted his dominance, leading it into turn one. Goodacre was there or thereabouts with him for the first few laps, but Taunton just piled on the pace.
Yeah, the inside line really is the dominant one. Here was a massive moment for Draney there as Grant Draney as the Monte Carlo. Looks like he's lunged an engine there, a little bit of oil coming out and a lot of white smoke. Lee Stibbs did another tour of pit lanes. You see them working under the car. There potentially some issues there. They got that back out to circulate. That'll be just getting some time in the seat. But this is where the fight was going on. Danny Studdard finally waited for his moment on Gillison, then worked on Goodacre as he went through the pack, showing some real late pace in this race. But it was short-lived, wasn't it, for Danny Studdard? He got away, and Goodacre had lost a fair bit of speed, as well as Gillison, and then all of a sudden, all on his own, he spun out on the final turn of that lap. Managed to rejoin the race, but we're not quite sure, because at this point we saw the tyre start to delaminate.
Yeah, just spreading rubber debris. We saw that whole belt ripped off, and IRC is going to go fast on that rubber. But for a successful outing, Jeff Taunton had it all in spades and brings it home.
Great starting from Gillison too, I thought. Got to be careful on the outside, but Taunton didn't get away at the start. Gillison actually got the nose in front. But as they turn into turn number one, the inside line is where you want to be. Emery slotted in, just pushed Goodacre just out a little bit, who had to slot into 4th position. Donaldson holding on to 5th. And it was a pretty smooth start, really. Not too much bump and grind going on at this stage. Now, this was a big dive from Finn down the inside of Hollinger, and I assume just a slight bit of contact made, although we couldn't see any panel damage, and Hollinger tried to fight back for a number of laps, but they're so evenly matched out there. Eventually, though, Finn would have to make way for Hollinger, who got a good run down into turn number 3 and managed to get the Hollinger Engineering entry, number 23, back into that position. Goodacre took an excursion on his own out on turn number 2 and got himself buried in the sand trap, and that led to a safety car, and a recovery crew had to tow that car out.
Yeah, that safety car really triggered this very, very simple affair. A short, sharp dash to the finish. No real jockeying for position, but a fantastic note on the end of the weekend's campaign here for Jeff Taunton. Moves him up in the points. He's going to be super happy about that one.
Hi-Tec Performance Oils. You want the best for your car. Drive well. Stay safe with Hi-Tec Oils.
Welcome back to Behind the Visor here for the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. Of course, we'll move into the muscle that's about to get underway for their endurance round for 2025. Of course, the TO2 muscle cars presented by Maritimo. Dylan Thomas on this one's a bit close to your heart, isn't it?
Oh, mate, myself and Timmy Brook were the first winners of this endurance race. Then that was up at Darwin, awesome event. And then last year they went down to the Bend, won by Jarrod Hughes, series leader, with Little Cheen. So Graham Geeney's son at Tyler. And then this year they're at Queensland Raceway.
Oh, let's bring him in right now, though, the man who runs the series. Matty Mack, welcome, and Matt Naulty, of course, the commentator for the series. Welcome, gents.
Hello, boys.
What could go wrong? 3 Matts in one room, right?
Love the
I suppose, direction you guys are taking with something like this. It's cool to sit around and have a chat with all the boys and talk about what's coming up next for TA2, because it's going to be a pretty exciting co-driver event, I think.
Yeah, tell us about that. I mean, we've got some. You've already announced that Craig Lowndes is going to be teeing up with Jarrod Hughes. That's a massive announcement. But I mean, we're all waiting on social media and on the website to find out who else is going to be joining us potentially.
Timmy Slade with Alice Buckley as well. So you got Timmy Slade in there.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Appreciate you letting that go public before we had that slated too, but that's okay, mate. You can do that. Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be a great event. I think anytime you get Craig Lowndes involved in any event that you're doing, it's going to be a win for the event. But I think probably the most exciting thing, and no disrespect to you, Dill, and even when I drove it, the sort of names that when you and I were doing the endurance races at the Bend and at Darwin a couple of years ago, the names that were in there are not the names that are coming into this one. So we've released Craig Lowndes. Obviously, George Miedeke is also teaming up with young Webster in a bit of a Marcus Ambrose kind of reconnection there, Marcus Ambrose Motorsport. Pretty excited to have Benny Bargs and Clay Richards to big names. Obviously, their dads were big names, and the boys are trying to mark their way through the industry now. So great to have those two together. And then, as you say, Alice Buckley and Slady, but we've just got a whole bunch more to release over I suppose, next week and a half. There'll be Super 2 drivers, main game drivers, GT4 drivers, returning TA2 champions, Trans Am drivers. If you win this one, like, you will have to have had just the best weekend, because this is probably the most competitive field we've ever put together in TA2.
Naulty, you got a lot of experience across all forms of endurance racing. You've called a lot of races there. You know what it's like when they get the co-drivers in, especially when you get some returning legends and veterans who have rubbed doors before. Like, what sort of fireworks do you reckon we'll expect?
I'm with Matty on this one. I mean, I was talking to him on Sunday and was privy to see the list and how it's all going to plan out. I just think the difference in 12 months is testament to the growth of the category. And I mean, I'd like to say I've been nagging Lounsey all year you need to be in a TA2 car or a Trans Am car. And I think having him added to the field, this is a good chance for the drivers in this series to get a feel of how good they actually are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's actually, you make a good point about the growth, but not only that, the connection between Trans Am and TA2, and obviously with HTT taking everything on board. And, Matty, I've seen some of your socials been very, very busy in the last couple of months, like 4 weekends in a row. Big growth for the category, as Nolt says there. How's HTT handling that? How are you keeping up with stock inventory? I mean, Darwin went through a few parts. Must be a pretty big challenge from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think, it is a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge. And when HCC took over from the Robinsons in November of last year, we never knew that it was going to be the way it is today. The opportunity for the Trans Am purchase came up. We were able to secure that, bringing everything in essentially under the one roof now. The challenge that we face, I suppose, with parts, and it's a great point that you bring up there, mate, is because we have a truck, as you know, goes to every single race. It has usually chock full of parts and all that sort of thing. The challenge that we've got with our parts is that you can't just run down to a local supplier on the Gold Coast or Brizzy or Sydney or whatever and pick up your parts. These parts are, many of them bespoke. They all come out of the United States. When you've got things in the United States, they take a little while to get here, whether you fly them or whether you put them on the water or not. So the reality is the growth that we've experienced with TA2, the parts delivery time-wise hasn't quite been able to keep up. What I can tell you, though, is we've just had our first container arrive of 3, and we've ordered something in excess of around $3.2 million worth of stock out of the United States for TA2 and Trans Am. From a busy perspective, oh yeah, man, it's been absolutely crazy. Like, I don't know, in your racing career, and Naulty, I don't know, probably in yours maybe, but to do 4 race weekends in 5 weekends is just out of control. From Perth to Darwin, Sydney, Queensland, it takes a huge amount of organisation. It takes a big toll on the human resources of the business. And it's been big. It's huge. The momentum's huge. it's very hard to buy a TA2 car. I think, Dylan, you and I probably sold our race cars too early. We would have probably earned a few more in the Skyrocket had we held on to them. But cars are going off to New Zealand. The New Zealand business is flying. They're going to kick off their season this year with TA2 being the top touring car category in the country, which is a great honour for TA2. They're talking about having 20 cars. So holistically, in this side of the world, I suppose, TA2 New Zealand and Trans Am, we're absolutely flying, and we're very grateful, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, it's long days.
Knowles, that's just another month for you, isn't it? Getting on, going 4 different places in a month and calling a few races.
Yeah, I was going to say, Matty, like we do this all year long. Usually I came off a 13-week stint at the start of the year, and he goes, oh, we're also going to go to Perth and race now. So, to his point, it's not just going to a racetrack. It's all the admin and logistics and the build up to it, like leaving Sydney on that night race. Most of those teams packed up, left and went straight west. And that's huge with such a short announcement to get across there to the west. And that's going to open the floodgates up for TA2 over in that part of the world. There's a few cars tucked away in the sheds over in the west. And like you guys said, it's people queuing up to be involved in this now. I mean, I've been watching from the sidelines the last 2 or 3 years and come out and watch some rounds last year during the year, and to be part of it, this is a real growth category.
Driver's hat on here. The boys and girls, because Alice got a pole and Jarrod got a pole at the last round. They were in the 12 flats. Some celebrity drivers coming on for this next round. Have we got some lap time bingo for the pole?
Look,
driver's hat.
I don't know, Dylan. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, some of the co-drivers we've got coming are very, very good. But these cars, as you'll attest to, there is a knack to driving them. You have to get on top of them. Look, I would love to see something in the 11s, as you say. Alice and Jarrod were doing 12 flats. I would love to see one of the co-drivers, as I look at my board over here, as to who might be on it. Look, there's 3 or 4 that could easily get into the 11s if they get their head around the car.
We'll see an 11. We'll see an 11. I'm asking if we're going to get a 10. I think we'll get an 11.
I think it's depending on you've been to Queensland Raceway. Once the joint gets to mid-afternoon, throw it away, right? You're not going to get a lap time. So, but I would love to see either, because we've got 2 qualifying sessions, a qualifying session for the main driver and a qualifying session for the co-driver, and they're in the morning. And they're in the afternoon, late on the Friday. So I'm not entirely sure we're going to see that. Whereas the racing, we've got race 1 for the main drivers on Saturday morning. Probably mid-morning. That's when the track is absolutely tickety-boo. So we could see, I'd love to see an 11. We could see a 10. I don't know.
Look, guys, the other thing is Queensland Raceway always offers up a little bit of rain every now and then. So we don't know what excitement's going to get thrown at it, really. This could be a very interesting weekend.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we saw on that Sunday afternoon, it threatened, and it never really delivered. But you can never rule it out there at Queensland Raceway. We come up there to escape the winter. I mean, it's a balmy 11 degrees in my little world here today. So we're trying to get up there for a bit of a summer's break. But to go back to Matty's point, I saw this category the first time back in 2016 in Detroit when I was there doing the stadium trucks, and there was 44 of them that ran around Belle Isle that day. And that was the day I thought, if we bring this category to Australia, this could be the next big thing. And I think what TA2 did in the beginning was not let it grow too hard. And you saw like smallish fields racing in Queensland. They expanded out to New South Wales, and they've taken the baby steps. And I think a lot of people sat back to watch what was going to happen. It was a bit like when Super Utes went through that crazy phase of turbo diesels and no one really took it seriously. And Matty, you ran that first year with us.
I took it seriously.
They dropped the V8s in them, and all of a sudden now they've got a queue. So this has been, strategically done by the category to grow it. And now you're seeing people like big names want to be involved in this, and that's cool.
Well, we're excited for this endurance round, boys. Thank you for joining us here on the Behind the Visor show.
Can't wait for Queensland, boys. It's going to be awesome.
Just a couple of weeks till we get to warm up when we get to head up north, because we're going to have a short break, and after this we're going to be back with our team Chevrolet in the TA2 Muscle Car.
Oh, there's going to be a few highlights. It was a great start. We get the rolling start this time with that start zone. We only saw him go too wide to turn number 1. Alice Buckley, though, was the unfortunate one on the outside there. And, mate, her first race in TA2, it's an inaugural race, ended up getting pushed out of the outside. And a few of the guys took advantage of that. You can see Josh Thomas was the last to get put in here. In between that, we saw Diesel, unfortunately, spin off. Oh, sorry, not Diesel. We saw... We saw him, Des Collier spin off the road there, and that was a big moment for him. Robbie Farr looks like he went back to first gear, potentially there, locked the brakes up and got stuck in the gravel trap there and had to be towed out. Luckily enough to get the car re-running. In the meantime, though, we saw Action Jackson. Hey, Jackson there go off. We're not quite sure what happened there. Get towed off. The back wheels were locked up.
That brought us out for a short safety car period, and then the battle for 10th position well and truly on, but they weren't catching this guy. Jarrod Hughes in rarefied air this season, and another victory for the IES Motorsports team. Good time for Chevrolet Racing to get involved as well, as he picks up the 5th straight win. Mum and Dad like it, and so do we. In the TFHI TA2 Muscle Car Series by Maritimo, as we look at the highlights. Opportunistic move from that Chevy, the white Chevy, at the start of the race. Tom Davies had placed himself nicely. This was in car with Josh Thomas. He had a little poke up there at turn 2 as the field settled into this 25-minute race. A hapless day for the Dodge Challenger. It was just back in the pit lane, but at least he got some points today.
Yeah, some linkage issues. They managed to get that sorted. Des Collier with another excursion in the 63 as well, who took on a lot of dirt. And we saw the panel work flapping at the back of that at the last bit of the race. Lachlan Evernett had a massive moment here into turn 3, and that saw him take a venture through pit lane as well, by the looks of it. Went a lap down on that one. For a moment, Tom Davies, we thought he could have got it done on Jarrod Hughes. He really took the fight to him, didn't he? But he just couldn't hold on, and Jarrod Hughes doing a fantastic effort to hold Tom Davies off until I think maybe just the tyres went away, and Tom Davies really couldn't attack him with the same ferocity that we saw him through these early parts of the race.
Great shot from the drone cameras at eye level, chasing the top 3 through the 2 left-handers. But what a show it's been once again. The Hughes show rolls on to another victory. And the Road Active Suspension Chevrolet will pick up another victory. Qualify again tomorrow morning. And I think you'd be a silly man to be bet against him at the moment with the form he's in.
So much to unfold from this race, though, and I don't want to be up there with White Dog to try and figure out who's going to get in trouble as you look back at the start of this race. Some of the highlights. Bit of contact there. It was Hughes and Tom Davies on the outside. Unfortunately, Gomersall sandwich. Webster in the background in his own little battle there, went off the track. Josh Thomas coming up the inside. Diesel Thomas was so close at that stage.
Yeah, gritty move, wasn't it, from the teenager? As off the track went Davies. That dropped him well outside the top 10 in the early stages of the race. That was just one little highlight. This was the second one. Look at the Gomersall car and Cheney as they crossed over each other's bows here and sent the 35-unit racing car to the infield. And Tyler would drop himself outside the top 10 to finish in 16th position. This was contact between Hume, and it got the front right of Hayden Jackson, allowed Mark Crutcher to move up into position 7 by the end. Graham Cheney mowing the grass on the outside. But what a cool moment this was. Out the final turn. And to the delight of Tim Slade and Chevrolet Racing, Alice Buckley wins and puts herself on the pole for race 4. This is how it went down with the gloomy skies. That's what happened to Tom Davies wiping out on the AASA signs before getting to, sorry, it's Hayden Hume in the 45 that got the sign at the start there. But Alice Buckley led a hungry pack of cars behind, and 2 TFH brothers working together to move themselves up into 2nd and 3rd. Brunt Payne drove across the top. I wonder if that's how the tyre cut down. There's so much debris off the track here this weekend.
Yeah, not even sure whether potentially there was some contact prior to that which caused some panel damage there, but you could see the tyre was smoking the entire time. And this is a massive moment for Tom Davies, who was working his way back through the field very fast, and a lock up on brakes on turn 6 and drove that deep. Des Collier once again, well, he already banged up the left-hand side of the front of the car, decided no, the right-hand side this time was going to try and hang on with that stickers just holding the car together, but eventually that had to succumb into the pit lane and get that fixed, as that was a big moment. Was that Ayrton Hodgson in the background? We did see some dust there, but we weren't sure who it was.
So that was him going off track earlier in the race. That explains why the splitter was so peppered when he returned to the track. That was Thomas on the inside. This was Gonsall just forcing his way to the front. He'll be our hard charger for this weekend. Up into 4th position. He got Hughes in the end. This was Webster with a lazy spin down here in the Autofix Mustang. But this is as close Diesel Thomas. He threw everything at the Chevrolet Performance 150. And her first weekend behind the wheel of a TA2 muscle car, picks up pole position and 2 wins and stands on the podium.
Well, that's a fantastic weekend of racing here at Queensland Raceway. It's round 3 of the Hi-Tec Oils Series.
Hi-Tec Performance Oils. You want the best for your car. Drive well, stay safe with Hi-Tec Oils.
Well, welcome back once again to Behind the Visor here for the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. We continue on with our TA2 muscle cars. We head into the endurance round. Next up, we've got Team Chevrolet. We've got the young guns on board, of course, Jarrod Hughes and Alice Buckley, who joins the winner's circle after last round. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Now, you two, last round, both took honours in qualifying. Qualifying Saturday went to Jarrod, qualifying Sunday to Alice. How was that? I mean, Team Chevrolet, you're just moving along.
Who's first? You go first, Springers.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Obviously, it was my rookie and opening round, so wasn't what we expected. But yeah, I was pretty happy I could get in the mix of it and at the pointy end of the category straight away. So yeah, I was over the moon. So yeah, on to you, Jarrod.
Oh, thanks for passing the baton. No, it was awesome. We went in not expecting too much because we weren't able to do much prep going in, but the guys did an awesome job on Saturday to give me a great car, and then unfortunately we lost it a bit on Sunday and wasn't able to hang on to it. But no, it was great to see 2 Chevy cars out the front, especially on Sunday qualifying when Alice got pole and then I was on second. Locking out the front row was absolutely awesome, and it was really cool to hear the Chevy team were happy with that. So hopefully we can do the same thing again, but I'll just swap spots with you, Alice, if that's okay.
Well, it was so funny because we locked it out on both days. We just swapped around on.
Oh shit, we did too. Oh, yeah. I can't say that. Yeah, we did too.
Well, I actually thought that was actually a remarkable improvement as well. Alice obviously qualified second on the Saturday, but got beaten up a little bit at the start of the race, and then Sunday obviously taking the pole and really, and had to do a safety car restart as well. So, got the elbows out on the Sunday, big improvements on the race in probably a little bit more comfortable. And, second to that, I actually wanted to ask the question to Jarrod, why the hell did you fall away on the last race? You were like playing rear gunner to Alice, and then all of a sudden you're back in 4th, mate. What's happening?
I'd like to know how I'm just in the presence of an absolute god and Dylan Thomas. I didn't even realise that was you. How much are they paying you to get on this? This is a good deal.
About the same as you, mate.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we were struggling for grip the whole weekend, and unfortunately you only get 6 tyres for a weekend in TA2, and it just caught up to us in that last race. But yeah, as I said before, because we didn't get to do the prep we would have liked and didn't get the testing that we would have liked, we were trying things all weekend and unfortunately just had a bit of a wrong swing in it in the last one, probably a bit more than just a little bit of a wrong swing. It was one of the hardest cars I've had to drive, but yeah, the whole weekend was just a bit of a test weekend for us, to be honest. So that's why we're here today at QR, trying to get ahead of the 8 ball before the 2 driver.
Hughesy, let's talk about the 2 driver. He announced earlier in the week, going to be with Craig Lowndes, childhood,
Have you heard of him?
Have you heard of him?
We've heard of him.
I think he does. I think he's a professional lawn bowls player.
Yeah. He might have won. Is there a bowls club up at Bathurst, is there?
Yeah, there might be. There probably is, to be fair. Homemade.
What is it you think he's going to teach you in a TA2 muscle car?
Oh, I think to start with, it's going to be me teaching him sort of what these things you need to do in these cars. But I think that's going to turn around pretty quickly after he gets his head around it, and I'm just going to be a sponge and learn as much as I can off him. He's obviously driven just a couple cars in his career, so there's so much to gain off of him and so much to learn, not just on track but also off track as well. He's obviously probably one of, if not the best operator on both on and off track events. So it's going to be awesome to partner up with him and to do it after being with GM 10 years this year. It's a great 10-year anniversary gift, I think, and to have done so many things with him in the past, a lot of events and a lot of ads and different things together with him, to actually be able to sit in the car with him and actually do an endurance race with Craig is absolutely unbelievable. So, yeah, I just can't wait to get it underway.
Well, same question go to Alice. You got Tim Slade. I've had the privilege of sharing an Evo at Bathurst with Tim Slade a couple of years, actually. What's your experience been with Tim? I know he's been mentoring a little bit, and you're looking forward to him sharing the car with you up at Queensland?
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I've only really worked with Tim in the TA2 category. He's been amazing to work with. When I was doing testing in the GR car, he was out doing laps in my TA2 car, which is why we hit the ground running realistically. He put in the hours for me to fine-tune the car, so I had a good setup going into the QR race. So, yeah, it'll be really exciting for us to get together, and we like the car very similar, obviously. So it's, a very exciting thing. And obviously we got good results straight away, which wasn't what we expected. So, really excited to learn more about the car and fine-tune my driving and, get to work with Tim. He's awesome to work with. So I'm very excited and feeling very confident going into the two driver event.
Is your dad driving?
Yeah, Dad's driving.
Jeez, he's only just... Hey, I know it, Paddy. You got the camera going left and right.
Our poor viewers are getting casted here.
Oh, geez, you're good, Paddy. You're a weapon.
So now we know you're very evenly matched out on the track. You got two phenomenal co-drivers. Are we going to see some betting going on between you two as a team for the weekend? Are we going to see we're going to be able to get involved, some odds?
I'm sending her a bill for my wrap because I've got a couple of donuts on my door from when she fed me a door at turn 3. So other than that, I'm okay.
I'm aware I was in front of you, but anyway, we'll let the results do the talking at the two driver event, and may the best drivers win.
Well, on that, we asked Matty Mack and that, are we expecting to see I mean, you guys both qualified in the 12 flats pretty much. Are we going to see a 10 with some of these celebrity drivers coming in, pushing you guys along? I mean, I'm expecting to see an 11, but can we see a 10?
Oh, and if you put the helmet back on, Dylan.
don't give him a chance. He will.
Nobody offered me a co-drive, so unfortunately I'm not coming.
Can you do a 3-car?
Oh, I must have got lost in the mail, mate. Sorry, the carrier pigeon must have had a bit of a shunt.
Next question, Queensland. You guys are from up there. Rain. Are we going to expect that on one of those days?
I really, really, really hope so. I went and raced in New Zealand for a year and a half, so I'm praying for rain.
Hughes, what's going on, mate? You're silent for once.
No. I love the rain, but you're saying is it going to rain? And who knows? Queensland seems to have turned into the new Melbourne, so you may as well get one of those spinning wheels and just pick the weather because it's probably going to be right.
Well, it could be an interesting enduro. I know it's going to be absolutely fun to watch from the outside. I hope you guys enjoy it as much from the inside, from the driver's seat. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Paddy. Well done, mate. Very impressive.
Cheers, Hughes.
Oh, big shout out to the young guns of the sport from Team Chevrolet for coming on the show today. We've still got a couple more guests, a couple more of the young guns to come up after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hi-Tec Performance Oils. You want the best for your car. Drive well. Stay safe with Hi-Tec Oils.
Well, we're coming to the final segment of our Behind the Visor here for the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series, and we continue on with the TA2 muscle cars. And again, we're talking to a couple of the up-and-coming young drivers as part of that series. Diesel Thomas joined us, and Lachlan Evernett. Welcome to the show, boys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
You're making Dylan and I feel pretty old here at the moment to see these young faces up on our screen. How's it been in the TA2 muscle cars? How are you finding it?
I'm enjoying it. If I go first, I don't want to cut anyone off. But I think so far it's been good. QR was pretty enjoyable. I think it gives a bit of extra experience alongside the Trans Am and the cars. I get plenty of seat time as it is, but it's definitely good to get in that car a bit more, just aside the Trans Am series and leading up into the last couple of rounds.
Diesel, how you found it?
Yeah, it's actually been a big learning curve for me. I jumped in at the start of the season at Winton, just jumping out of the scholarships last season, and everything I've learned in the TA2 cars has really picked up my driving. I've actually noticed it quite a lot coming off a podium last round at Sydney and some big improvements at QR last round.
How was that having your mum and dad and everyone there for your first podium? It's home track for you, Diesel.
Yeah, it was. I was coming into the weekend expecting some results, but coming second, battling for the win with Alice, mum and dad were, I think mum was actually in tears watching me, but dad wasn't, but that was a really cool experience.
I think the other thing that's pretty cool as well is you've just travelled overseas and done some. You've got an enduro coming up. You've gone and done some enduro testing. Let's call it. Do you want to tell us about your enduro testing?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go over to Belgium during at my school holiday. So I was over there for a week with the team at TFH. We bring Todd Hazelwood, Des Collier, and my brother Josh Thomas over there with us. So we had a bit of a 4-driver team over there. We ran with GDL Racing, the Fun Cup team that ran, I think they ran 4 cars over there. But it was a bit of a hectic race. We started 56 out of 115, I think. We had a bit of traffic for our qualifying, but we were lucky enough to start in the top half of the field, so it put us in a good position for the race. And of course, during Enduro, there's always going to be problems. We had problems with safety cars. We had problems with fueling and driver changes. By the end of the race, we had no mirrors and no reverse cameras, and we were completely blind. But I think for about 13 hours of the race, it was completely wet racing. So I got a lot of experience over there racing in the wet, which I don't usually get over here, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool event. That's the 25-hour of Spa for those that are playing at home. It's a little Fun Cup car, a little Beetle body with a fiberglass thing. Pretty cool thing. Our team got to do it a few years back. Well, more than a few being the age difference. Lockie, how are you finding jumping between the Formula Ford and the TA2 car? Very different in nature and size and stature, everything.
Yeah, it is quite different. I think jumping between them, you have to kind of find similarities in them. And I can, say there's a 4-speed manual. It's move around a lot. There's no aero, and that's about where the similarities stop. They're pretty different cars. I think it's a great experience, just being able to apply my skills to either of them really quickly. And I think the weekend went pretty well, jumping between them, and I had a great time, and I learned quite a lot, plenty of laps in both cars. So I think it's quite difficult learning also on the Goodyear that weekend. But I think, the extra tack time sometimes helps, especially just learning the conditions and stuff of the track as well. So I was quite pooped by the end of the weekend, but I did really enjoy it.
Look, we underestimate when we say that jumping between the cars. You literally missed out on your podium interview in Formula Ford because you pulled in. They already have the car started for you. Literally, they pull you out of the Formula Ford and they're already gridded up to go out in the TA2. So you're literally out of one car. We didn't even see you get a drink. You're straight in the next car.
Yeah, it was pretty tough in that last one, actually. It was quite a long race, that last Trans Am race. But, I didn't get much time to cool down. It was definitely an experience, getting ripped out and then put in the next one. I was definitely, if you watch my Formula Ford interviews at the end of the weekend, they're not very special. I did not look in good shape. But, in my mind, I felt like I was good, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now what I want you to do is I want you to sell why Diesel needs to talk TFHI into a Formula Ford now, so you two can battle it in both categories. All right, what's your best sales pitch on Formula Ford?
I think the whole race on QR was a sales pitch, to be honest. I mean, there's lead changes every lap. It's sad, we're trying to bring that category back. It used to be so big, and I think having the AASA series has helped. It's put it up on the big stage again, and I think if anyone who is watching even wants to come out of karts into race cars, I think Formula Ford's an incredible pathway, and I think everyone should give it a go, not only to build their confidence but their racecraft as well.
Well, with the TA2 two-driver event coming up in Queensland Raceway next event, how's the preparation going? Seeking your new drivers. We won't draw them out of you yet because of releases and whatnot. But how's the progress and the preparation going for that event coming up for both of you? Starting with Lockie.
Oh, yeah, I think it's going pretty well. Just fixing up the cars and tuning them up for the weekend. Just taking everything we learned from at QR last week to a couple of weeks ago, and we're gonna take all that on board and try to figure out some setup stuff, tweak a couple more tenths out of it, and try and fight for those podiums.
Diesel, how's your prep going? Just leaving it to the team, or are you getting in there on the spanners?
I think coming off QR as well, it was actually really good to have that round there before the Enduro round. So we did learn quite a bit setup-wise and everything before the actual Enduro round. Had a bit of trouble actually finding a second driver, but we have one locked in. I probably will reveal that later, but I think the team's ready. Cars. We got asked to do because we're running Sandown Trans Am this weekend. We was going to run it in my car, but I just couldn't justify wrecking my car there and not having it ready for the 2-driver event.
Yeah, it's exciting. So you guys have you guys done, or apart from over in Spa, we haven't seen you in any of the TA2 Endurance. Is there anything you're sort of expecting? I mean, Diesel, you've had, obviously the team have run the Endurance before, which is a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what to expect going to the 2-driver. I'm not actually sure how it works. Like if we get 2 races as 2-driver teammates, or if we just get single events. I'm not actually sure how that format works.
Well, I'll give them a little tip. Yeah. You've got 12 tyres. You get 4 for qualified, and you've got to do your own race on that. And then your co-driver does 4 and does the race. And then you've got 4 more tyres for the Enduro. So you'll have a race each driver, qualifying each driver, and then you'll have a combined race as well.
Yeah, at the end of the day. So it's going to be a big day of racing.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking forward to it.
And if any of your drivers pull out an R bloke who's keen to put a helmet on,
we'll race. Bring helmet.
Yeah. Thanks, Dylan.
Oh, guys, it's been great having you on the show. Thank you for coming along, and good luck in a couple of weeks. We'll see you up in Queensland Raceway.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Thank you.
Oh, Dylan, it's going to be an exciting weekend, isn't it? Endurance round, of course, the Australian production cars, they got the 3-hour race and fight the night on Saturday night. Our innovation race cars, they end with a 50-minute race. And, of course, our TA2 muscle cars, we know what it's done over the last couple of seasons. The endurance thrown all sorts of different balls, I suppose, at the game. We don't know what it's going to bring.
Well, I think with this TA2 race as well, bringing in these, co-drivers that are, got some decent pedigree, that makes it quite exciting, I've been asking all night, are we going to see a 10 in qualifying on these tyres? On the Hoosier, I think the Hoosier could do it, but, on the Goodyear, I don't know. And I saw that both Jarrod and Alice were a bit 10, but, when you bring in those guys in, it just brings everyone up a little bit, and I think you're going to see some really, really good racing.
I think we're going to see a couple of, old rivalries reignite, I reckon, over the weekend, which is going to be fantastic to see. Don't miss it, of course. It is August 15 to 17 up at Queensland Raceway. Fight the night. Stay tuned to all of our socials here at the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. We want to see you down there trackside. If you can't, make sure you join us on Fox Sports as well. We'll see you then.